Greetings, folks. Iolair here. Today I have a replay from Mephiztopheleze, or Meph as he likes to go by. Meph plays on the North America server, and he is sailing for us today the Tier 9 Soviet destroyer, the Udaloi. Now, Udaloi in Russian means bold, so the question will be whether Meph is going to play boldly and live up to the namesake of his ship, so we shall have to see. Now, this is a Tier 9 domination battle here on Two Brothers. There are carriers in play, and Meph is only one of two destroyers on his team. In fact, each team has only two destroyers. Now, Meph is using the commander of Yechkin, so he's taking advantage of the buffed survivability expert skill to get a few extra hit points, and he is also running a full gunboat build, excuse me. Now, the only thing that I would change in this build, and I did mention this to Meph when he sent the replay over to me, as Meph is getting dropped here by the carrier, is I would drop Expert Marksman and take Adrenaline Rush. The Udaloi's turrets are reasonably quick, and they will keep up. Yeah, he's going to take a torp here. They will keep up with the ship in a full turn without needing to take Expert Marksman. And basically all surface combat ships do want to take advantage of Adrenaline Rush. So I would recommend that skill for this ship, and like I said, for any surface combat ship for that matter. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting when I was watching through this replay was Meph's choice to come over to the same flank as his allied Mahan. Usually when I play Destroyer, I look at the layout of the team and try to have some relatively even distribution of destroyers on flanks to have some balanced spotting or some decent spotting on all sides for the team. Now, as it turns out, it's not really going to be an issue here because we can see at least two and maybe three opponents moving up the central channel, and the Allies have gotten a pretty, well, they're getting a handle on A to an extent, as the other opponents that we can see on the west flank are very, very deep on the southwest side of the map. So the Allies should be able to get alpha here. And the opponents have elected to commit, well, looks like a quarter of their team, a Pommern, Riga, and a Izimo, or an N Izimo, to come up the middle here. And this is where we may see the first bold move from Meph as he's closing in on these ships. Now, he's obviously using the terrain here to mask his approach to shorten the distance when he can send torpedoes on these opponents. Now, this looks like this is going to be a very suboptimal send angle, as the Pommern and the Izimo and the Riga are going to be quite bow into him. He is now the Pommern has just popped his hydro, and with it being 6 kilometers, yeah, Meph is going to need to peel away here as quickly as he can. He is going to send the other set of torpedoes on the side. So the Udaloi gets 3 torpedo launchers, one on each side of the ship and one center mounted. So you can send up to 12 torpedoes. And he is still under hydro. He's going to have to get more than 6 kilometers from the Pommern, or have the Pommern go down before he's able to get off detection here. He does get another torpedo. I think that was on the Izimo, and yeah, the Udaloi, I'm sorry, the Pommern does go down. And now the Allies are going to focus on the other ships. And it looks like he just got another torpedo with flooding on the Izimo. So we're, 6 minutes into the game, he's already up to over 80,000 in damage. So doing pretty well here. And like I said, that was a pretty bold move to push in as aggressively as he did against 3 opponents, one of which is a secondary build battleship, and another is a cruiser with radar. And he is maintaining a, less than 10 kilometer distance from the opponents here, although now he's leveraging his own smoke to stay in concealment as he gets another fire on the Izimo. And if I'm not mistaken, he did have flooding, which the Izimo may have. I can't tell. Yeah, I think the Izimo did put out the flooding, but the Izimo is burning in at least 2 places. There's the radar from the Riga. Now, the Riga has 15-second radar. It can go up to 18 seconds if the Riga mounts the surveillance radar special upgrade. And he does take down the Ismo with his fires, and he's going to need to peel away here because he's down to a very small amount of health. He does have a repair that's going to come up here in about 20 seconds. But he, again, some pretty bold moves here to put fire on this Musashi at range, as the Musashi looks like he's going to slip into the cap. Yes, he did. Try to keep the cap reset because the allies right now are only holding one cap, and the opponents have two, and they're now contesting a third. So the allies do have a one-ship advantage, but it's pretty much anybody's game right now. Now this is where, this is where I thought Meph was being, again, maybe a little too bold. The overpens from the Musashi are still going to carve out a pretty significant portion of his remaining health as he continues to close in here. Okay, he missed, or he avoided those shells. Keeping the pressure on the Musashi to try to keep the cap reset. But we also know that the Z39, which has now gotten redetected, is in the cap as well. And if he gets a hit on the Z39 like he just did there, he's going to get pretty much a full reset, sending torpedoes out. Again, very low health here. He does have a smoke screen ready. In fact, he just dropped smoke in order to get into concealment and be able to pull away and get some better range on the Z39. He's got two sets of torpedoes out, just sent his third, but that second set of torpedoes looks really good, especially that far right torpedo. Is he going to get him? Yes, devastating strike. So nice. He's up to 2 kills and 132,000 in damage, and we aren't even 9 minutes into the game. So some pretty aggressive play by Meph and the Udaloi at this point. Now the Cyclone that had come into the game is almost in full effect. We're down to 1098 kilometers of detection. I've accelerated the replay here as Meph is closing in to support his Nagato with the Musashi. Now we're going to go back to normal speed here, and his torpedoes have just come up. Meph, I think you're sending your torpedoes a little long here. I would have sent them closer to the edge of the terrain because the Musashi clearly is going to know that you're here now. With you be obviously you're detected, and so he's going to slow and turn in here. But again, with the Udaloi with 3 launchers, he's going to have one more launcher on his starboard side here, and so long as it doesn't get knocked out here, he is going to send short this time. Now the Musashi has an excellent torpedo set of torpedo protection. Is this going to be enough to kill the Musashi? Yes, it is. So another bold move by Meph in the Udaloi to finish off an opponent. Now I'm going to accelerate the replay here again as he's moving towards Charlie to do some backcapping. And I think this is absolutely the right decision here, as the teams have remained very close in ships. Caps have continued to get contested against each other, and at this point it's important to try to get some handle on an additional cap if at all possible. Now he is capping here, but he's also getting dropped by the Kaga. Now the bombs don't actually have to hit him in order to get a reset. If he's within the splash radius of the bombs, which it looks like he was not, he would have taken or would have been subject to a reset, but that didn't happen. Now, one thing that I noticed when I was watching this is that the bombs just dropped, and now here come immediately the rocket planes. And since the carrier has gotten a separate strike off very quickly, that means he must be right around the corner. And I was thinking that carrier's got to be on the southwest side of the cap, right behind that island. We just can't see him yet. And I don't know whether, Meph, you recognized that at this point, or and you were just mainly focused on dodging shots. But we have indeed now detected the Kaga as the storm is also starting to lift. And the Allies have gotten or returned back to a 1-point lead. The Östergötland on the opposing team has detected and is engaging the August von Perceval, the Tier 8 German carrier. And so now the question is whether the Östergötland is going to be able to finish off the carrier, or whether the carrier is going to prevail in that engagement, as Meph is working on the the opposing carrier. There is Confederate, finally, after 176,000 in damage. Send one set of torpedoes long in anticipation that the Kaga is going to start moving forward. But he's also being backed up by his allied Friedrich der Große, which is helping to take the Alpha cap, which he just did. So the Allies now have all caps, and the Allied carrier did prevail in his engagement with the Östergötland. So now the question is whether Meph is going to get a kill on the carrier, which he does. So again, some really bold moves by Meph in the Udaloi here on Two Brothers. 196,000 in damage, 4 kills, Dreadnought, Confederate, and Devastating Strike, almost 2,600 base XP, so a very impressive outing in the Udaloi. I hope everybody did enjoy the replay and the commentary. Please do leave your comments below, and as always, we hope to see you out there in the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.
Run. Run.